What the fuck? I just want to paint some soldiers. Alright, fuck it, we've got no palette cam tonight, friends. Cool. Let's put a picture in there, actually. Let's put a picture of something in the palette cam spot instead. That would be great. That would be great. What picture are we going to put in there, Deno? Come on, mate. Oh. Picture, image. Oh, that's right. No, I don't want to do that. I want to do browser. Delete. G'day, Rumble. Thank you, OBS, for telling me about my browser source that I just added. It is pissing down with rain tonight, friends. Absolutely pissing down. Games got called off. Games got called off. For that reason. Boom. That's the next project. That'll replace palette cam. But guess what? We've got some exciting news. We started the sculpting. Here's where we're at. Wow, why are you so bright, He-Man? He-Man. There we go. So that's where the sculpting is at this juncture. So the legs look a little bit more normal. Just got to add the loincloth tabard thing, and then he actually looks pretty good when he's got his cloak on. He looks pretty cool. I've had some ideas about this arm, and I think I'm gonna go more of this sort of shape, but holding the hammer over the leg. G'day, Celery. So that's, I think, what we're going to end up with for his final pose, which I think looks pretty good. And then this arm is a shield, and Wolfgar is not a type of guy to use a shield, so I'm actually going to trim that off and just fix that, the sculpting on the back side of that a little bit. So he should be ready to go by tomorrow, I think, which is cool. We might do a little bit later on, depending on how we're feeling. Technical troubles tonight, friends. I've got to sit down with all of my things and work out what's actually happening, because this sometimes drops out, and then hello, Fred, and then sometimes the fracking face cam drops out, sometimes this drops out. I don't know. I do like playing around with my settings and stuff. It's been a pretty wet couple of weeks actually up here in Brisbane. It's been really bizarre. It's been non-stop rain, and the tagline for Australia, for Brisbane, is beautiful one day, perfect the next, and it's very much not been the case this year. Anyway, let's do a wee little bit of priming on this to kick us off tonight. Boot, boot. Hello, Galifire. So I have some issues with candles sculpted on models, right? it is really difficult to make them work as a painter. I'd much rather see unwicked or unlit candles with just the wick showing. Gallo-Fire, the auto mod, has held your message for some unbelievable reason. I am well, and thank you for asking. I don't think they'll go the way of Froggo. I think I'm going to try and make him like a black fire. Which should be interesting. So I'm streaming tonight, friends, which is, as you would have known, a Tuesday night, which Monday morning for a lot of you, or Tuesday morning for a lot of you. Normally play games on a Tuesday. Unfortunately, no games tonight because of the storm. And this is a fortunate coincidence because I have a work meeting tomorrow night. So tomorrow night's stream was going to be postponed anyway. So here we are. We get to enjoy a stream tonight and hit my second stream for the week, for the weekend, which is glorious. Thank you to Tobes for being too much of a scaredy cat to drive in the rain. Jay Cabanos, you know what, I really don't want to become famous, mate, because I already am famous. Maybe I should gift him a sub. What do you think about that? Thanks, Jay Cabanos. Oh, look, it's okay. I don't, this is the first games night I think I've missed in about, 7 months, something like that. It's good to have a break every now and then. My good friend Koki, he is unfortunately been missing quite a few recently. His wife is a nurse, and he's been unable to come because she's been working night shifts. So it's been pretty unfortunate for him. Ah, thank you, Wumposaurus. Was she amenable to me saying hello to her? Or did she think that was really weird and creepy? I specified with as little creepiness as you could manage. Great. It's exactly the kind of response we want. Yep, no, well done. Well done. Points for that, mate. You get points for that. Can I award channel points? Can I give people channel points for doing cool shit like that? I assume you had to explain to her how you knew me, not who I was. Like, she obviously would know who I am. But you just had to explain how we got to chatting. Is that right? I'll assume that's right. That's true, mate. That's all true facts. All true facts. Indeed. Ah, dear. Oh, dear. So we're painting this little thing for a bit tonight, and then we're going to get back stuck into the Barbie Yaga, I think, because I don't feel like this is going to take a long time. But yeah, I did start some of my sculpting, in case you missed it earlier, friends, of my Wolfgar model, and I'm pretty happy with how it's going. As I've said, I'm a mediocre sculptor, but I get by. So if we're feeling lucky, we might try and do some of that later on. Some sculpting later on as well. Don't know. Never know your luck in the big city, friends. Or in my case, the third biggest city. Why did I switch to this brush? This brush is too small for what I'm trying to do. Had a better day at work today, friends. Had some wins. Achieved some things. Feel positive. It was a good day. G'day, Mike. We're painting Barbie Yaga at the moment, mate. Here she is. This little thing goes on her back like this. So we're gonna keep chipping away with her tonight. It's a nice model, mate. You're right. I agree. Fantastic sculpt. One of my friends just got the Marvel United board game arrive on his doorstep, and they look awesome. He's trying to convince me to paint them. Yeah, the little doll's cool, eh? Yeah, there's heaps of little good little bits and bobs on this model. Little doll. This is chicken feet, which is cool. Which is reminiscent of a walking house thing that she's got going on. Yeah, it looks, the models look really great, so I'll probably paint some. We'll see. So again, apologies in advance, but we are about to hair dry this because I need to do some more. So I quite like the 1 to 12 Marvel, mate. Get into it. That'd be awesome. One thing I just love the contrast paints for is stuff like this, which is the wood grain. It's got such a natural texture that's beautifully sculpted, that all you need to do is just let all the sculpting do the work, and the contrast paints work perfectly for that. You just got to dilute it fractionally, and they work awesomely. They definitely marketed them in an interesting way, and it took me a while to try them as well. Actually, when they did all their advertising, like one of the guys who was on their adverts, Andy Wardle, was a mate of mine. Just messaged him. I was like, "Oh, what are the paints like, mate?" And he said, "Oh, they're fine. They're just a heavy wash." I was like, "Cool." But don't let that put you off, because there's a place for a heavy wash in many places. Mega Deno tips for the steps after sketching. Tip number 1: use a fucking airbrush. It does depend on when you're specifically referring to, because if you're trying to refine just with a brush a sketch, you usually want to use in between colours, a mixture of the two colours in between them, and do some glazes. But if it is an airbrush, you can be a little bit more picky with the colours you use, because you can refine it so quickly. G'day, Loopy. You can't even see these fucking bits, seriously, Jenna. What are you doing, mate? Stop wasting your time. Yo, Norsefire, hello, mate. Zoom in a bit for everyone, friends, so we can see what we're doing a bit more. Hey, Mithra! What's going on, mate? It's great to finally have you on the stream. Everyone else on the stream feels exactly the same way. We were just saying earlier, it's a shame that Mithra wasn't on the stream tonight, but you've made it. I don't have any great stories jumping out at me tonight, friends, but no doubt one will pop up at some point over the course of the evening when I'll gibber about stuff. So look forward to that. Look forward to another Deno gibberish story. The first thing I did after I got off the stream last night was give James Morehouse a quick message in the chat and said, "Oopsie, told everyone the Pete LeBlanc story last night." He was like, "Oh, great. Yeah, it's such a great moment in my life. Thanks." Oh, funny times. Funny times. Just watching what, mate? I'm just mucking around, pal. We already had a song redeemed tonight, Wampa. There was I turned on the stream, and Jim was sitting there waiting, and he was like, "Let's have a song." I said, "What are you doing, mate? Like, the whole point of having the song thing is you get to wait, do it at a great moment when it's really inconvenient for me and stuff." And he's like, "I don't even like music." So I had to pick my own song. Keep it for a raid. Sure, why not? Oh, you reckon this thing's yeah, that'll be metal too, probably, won't it? Yep. Mates, I have used the following colours. White, Games Workshop contrast paints, and that is it. Stand by. It is indeed diluted contrast paint. I dilute it using this magic mixture. Exactly what it says on the box. And that just helps it settle a little bit more evenly. Yeah. So what I can do then, once I've done this and created these interesting tones in the wood, is we can just go back in and do some highlights of the wood, and job done. The wood looks more interesting than wood that you would spend hours and hours and hours painting. Skill set, mate. It's all skill set. That's not entirely true. There is times when I do mask things off. It's generally, so I like to have the airbrush bounce colours around. Like, because I work in really dilute colours, what you tend to get is just a little overspray on some of those areas, which normally you would be like, oh, that's not great, but because it's so dilute, it's actually just tinting the colour and homogenising and harmonising it a little bit more, which isn't a bad thing. So the overspray is not something I sort of worry too much about, but also because I've got really good control with the airbrush now, I don't get that much overspray anyway. The times I do masking, and there is correct Waposaurus, is if I've done specific sort of work that I don't want to have colour reflections bouncing on, or let me think, because I did mask something on stream a little while back. I'm just trying to remember what it was. Do you not remember what it was? Oh, okay, yeah. So I remember now. The other time I use the mask is if I have an intent for the airbrush to do a fully opaque colour. I don't use the airbrush for that very often, because that's one of the times I find the airbrush has the most problems with working, is when I try and do too much of that. Mithra, we have two colours going on at the moment. The first is Dark Sea Blue from Vallejo Model Colour. Pew! And the second is German Yellow from Vallejo Model Colour. So I'm going to add some off-white into that mixture as well. But it is just at this point in time all about the placements, and we will continue to refine that. Yeah, it's a nice colour, Dark Sea Blue. Another thing that will help your contrast paints, I reckon I say this about 2 or 3 times a stream, right? But contrast paints and the airbrush, they do the same thing. I considered ice yellow. I will potentially go into some ice yellow soon. We'll see. Contrast paints do exactly the same thing as airbrushing, in the sense that they will reduce your overall contrast that you have on an area. So when I go back in and dark line and re-add contrast, it will help the contrast paints look not as contrasty. See you, Faz. So I'm trying to go for quite an old, aged wood with this thing. So we want to have quite a lot of grey tones in there, and that's one of the reasons I'm using contrast paint Griff Charger Grey, adding some grey tones. It's also got some interesting blue tones. I also like working with the actual colours while they're wet. So there's still some colours in here that are wet. Contrast paints and the actual dark sea blue. So tweaking and mucking around with those will just force them to blend on the model, which is fun. Just super fun. Not really. They're ink. They're an ink and a medium. The ink pigments are different to paint pigments. Yeah, it's the Joe Sonia mix for sure. It helps. Also helps that I'm not afraid to bang a shit ton of colour in there. So they take a little bit longer to dry. Yeah, speed definitely helps. I assume you're talking about methamphetamines, right? No, drug use is bad, kids. What is your go-to off-white to mix into colours for value? Yours is Buff. Buff from Vallejo. I don't know what Buff from Vallejo is, mate. Cool. That is not my go-to colour, obviously. I use ivory most of the time, Vallejo ivory. I've recently been using the off-white because my local store ran out of ivory. I thought I'd better mix up my game so I could keep painting if I ran out of ivory. So that's what I did. I just was like, oh, you can't see my palette. I was wondering why. I was going to explain what I was doing on my palette. Stupid palette cam. Stupid cameras. It's ivory added to that mixture of colours I talked about before. And then we're going to do some cool airbrushing. Woo! Yeah, airbrush. Woo! See if we can make it work. So let's do another little crack of this ring thing here in the middle, and we'll go through the steps. I'll explain the steps that I'm doing. This is just dark sea blue, straight on there. We're going to mix dark sea blue and German yellow, slightly more German yellow than dark sea blue, which will create a grey-green colour. At this point you have to know where the light source is on the model to determine where you're going to do your highlights. My light source is from the top left, so we're actually going to do a highlight in this spot. That's where the light will hit, and then it will also come back around here and hit in this section as well. We always do the edges. And that's step one. Ooh. I'm just going to hair dry that. Great. Step two. We're going to go almost full German yellow, just with a tiny little bit of that mix. And again, we're going to repeat those spots, but we're going to be a little bit more considered and not fill in quite as much of the highlight area. If you want it to look like burnished metal at this point, this is when you'll start adding little strokes, like follow the directions, and again, the edges, always the edges. G'day, Danny. Outstanding. Then we're going to add a little bit of off-white to this ice yellow and green mixture. So this is when it starts to look a little bit more like metal, and you're a little bit more careful with your highlight in this situation. And then we'll just do a couple of spots of pure off-white. Metal! Boo, 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 boo. Cool, easy as that. Get it done. Now, the placement of the highlights is where you have to be getting it right if you want it to look right. And I talked about that a lot on a previous stream when I was painting this dude who's sitting up here. So I talked a lot about how to choose metal placement, lights and reflective colours and that sort of gear when I painted this guy. So he's, I don't know, it was like the third stream that I talked about it. I certainly have, Mike. They're on my YouTube channel. To which I do not have the link. But if you look on the internet, you will find them. Hey, Jan. Yes, mate, please. I would love you to steal some of my ideas. I have also stolen my ideas from many other people. We're going to add a little bit more light to the wood, but I want to use a grey colour for that. So I'm going to use this orchid light. But Deno, that's not grey, that's purple, you fool. And I say to you, yes, it is. But we shall mix it with a little black. We shall mix it with a little bit of white. And we shall get a grey with much more interesting tones. And once again, I realise you can't see me doing this because of my stupid palette cam failing. Thank you. Mike, if I recall rightly, last time we nipped into your stream on a raid, we saw you were painting a little dwarf guy with some stripes on his pants. If that question was directed at me, Mr. John Stark, I do use scale 75 paints, but I wouldn't say I use them more than any of my other paints. They're just one of the paints I have in my arsenal. So we have Vallejo, we have Scale, we have Chimera, we have was it your Hellboy stream? Who was that then? Yeah, no, you're right, it was your Hellboy stream. Spot on. Yeah, no, I'm misremembering. That was another dude whose name was Mike, I think. I don't have any army painter. Jen. And if I can be brutally honest, it's because I think they are rubbish paints. You'll get my unvarnished opinion, friends, on anything and everything. And I think those paints are absolute dog shit. Well, I'm glad, because I lost all respect for you. Yeah, I think their army painter washes are fine. I've used some of their colours, and I pulled them out of the thing and I shook them up and I put them on my palette, and it was like painting with craft paints when I was a kid. They were just junk. Yep. So my three biggest paint colours that I use is probably Vallejo, Nocturna and Chimera. Probably. Time to do some airbrushing. So at this point we're going to do some signal blue. I think, oh, maybe that purple. Yeah, a bit of purple and signal blue. So I try to remember to do this on stream, but yeah, the scale colour are good. I haven't tried Nocturna End Paint, actually, Topulus. So you can see I've already added my thinner in there. So the next stage we're going to do is add some paint. I just do that with an old synthetic brush. Here is how much paint I'm putting in there, so not a lot. And if we have a little look at this, that's about how much consistency we've got going on. So just going to use this to add some interesting tones. Nobody cares about the back. Nobody cares about the back. Fuck the back. Fuck the back. Fair statement. I have some strong tone over there, I think. But I've upgraded to the Games Workshop contrast paint range, friends. So this is, speaking of, a contrast paint. Woohoo! If you go to the Nocturne website, you might find them there, but they have actually started phasing out their paints. They were just rebranded Vallejos anyway, but I liked a lot of the colours. Morning, Kev. G'day, mate. I have heard good things about those Pro Acryl Transparents. A lot of people talking about them. I'll have to check them out. Cool. Yeah, I'll check them out. Dancing in the moonlight. One thing we should do actually is just make sure that these feel like the same model is happening. Yeah, I'm digging it. I'm digging it. So for all those who've just joined the stream, most of you guys were on last night's stream, weren't you? So you would have seen me cutting apart He-Man of Eternia. Well, I did some sculpting. Deno, how do you do that with the airbrush? Oh, see you, Mike. Get amongst it, mate. Have a good stream or a good sesh, whatever you're doing. Alright, so here is my sculpting. No, I wouldn't be 7th best painter in Oz, mate. I wouldn't even be 7th best painter in Brisbane. But I'll take any of you fuckers for speed. Alright, let's show you my sculpting on my legs. Here is He-Man of Eternia. And we've commenced the resculpting of his legs. So there's much better pose happening now. Doesn't look like he's taken a shit, which is a real win for us in our diorama. The diorama is actually down the bottom there if you want to have a look at what I'm talking about, because I don't have a fucking palette can. The only thing I'm trying to toss up at the moment is this arm. So I think what he's going to end up happening is I'm going to change the arm so that he's hanging it down like this. And then we'll have Aegis Fang resting over his leg, like so. So that's going to take a fair bit of work. Feels a little bit more in keeping with the rest of the theme. This was the over-the-shoulder suggestion. Looks like he's posing for Playboy. Oh, yeah. But actually, when you put the cloak on, I reckon that looks pretty cool. Roughly. It is Moopatron, yeah, but there's a big storm, and it's Wedgie's birthday. So he has, and he had to work. Koki's, Annie's working, so Koki couldn't leave the kids at home. Tobes got scared that there was a hailstorm coming. Me and Freezy were like, you guys are weak, let's play some games. I just decided to paint. Anyway, well, Moopatron. So that's my sculpting so far. We might try and do some tabard later on tonight. We'll see. See how we're feeling. Let us continue with this. Yeah, poor the boys. But it's okay, because I'm here. I'm painting. I'm talking to my friends. By the way, everyone, Moopsy. I don't even know what a bus is. Let me message you offline, because I don't even know what a fucking bus is. Moopsy is in the stream tonight, friends. The guy who was a participating member of the Pete LeBlanc story from last night. He's here. Chrono26. Tell us about your experiences with Pete LeBlanc. The fans want to know, Moops. How have you recovered? Hey. Cam link in a USB 3. All the ports I've got are USB 3.2. I literally bought my computer like 3 days ago. The pillow sniffing was when he lost it. The pillow sniffing was when he was like, oh my god. Oh, Mithra, it is a long story, mate. I don't think I'll repeat it tonight. if you desperately want to watch it, it was in last night's Twitch stream I uploaded. It's probably at about the hour mark. And it goes for about 20 minutes, I reckon. 20 or 30 minutes. Hey, Miss Jana. Yeah, there you go. It was a great story, friends. And Moopsy took it like a champion. And to this day, he's never trusted again. Never trusted Potsy. Actually, I will tell you another Potsy story. I got another Potsy story I was thinking about last night. So, Potsy, we used to take him out on holidays, right? We used to go on holidays with him, and he used to be this guy that he'd travelled a lot. He's quite an experienced human. And the Oz Machine reunion is happening. Moops, Northfire wants to know when the Oz Machine reunion is happening. I was telling everyone last night that you were organising it, which is why nothing's happened. So, yeah, so Potsy, this is on one of the holidays. It was on not the same holiday as the Pete LeBlanc story. This was on a very early trip overseas for the OETC, which was a tournament held in Salzburg in Austria. And we got everyone together, and we did a 10-day trip around the UK. We hired a bus and we drove all around the UK. Had a ripping good time. It was excellent. We used to have this saying, right, which was trust the putts. Putsy had different nicknames, right? Putts was one of his nicknames. I can't remember why we called him Putts. I think it was spelling errors, like, chat mistypes. So one of the sayings we just had was trust the putts, because any time you wanted something to happen, Putsy would get it done. Well, we had a young gentleman come with us on our trip. His name was Michael Blythe. One of the loveliest people you'll ever meet. Also, not the sharpest crayon in the tool shed. He was, to give you an example, he'd never travelled overseas with us. He'd never travelled overseas before. He came on this trip. Our first stop was Wales. He was staying in a room in Wales with Moopsy and Leaps. And he gets into the room and he opens up his suitcase. And he starts going, "Oh wow, oh shit, oh yeah, that's awesome." And they're like, "What's going on, mate?" He's like, "Oh yeah, my missus packed all my bag." He hadn't packed his own bag for a 2-week overseas holiday. So he opened it up and he had no fucking idea what was in there. And he's like, "Oh yeah, I really like this shirt." He had a funny voice. The Blythe voice. We just used to do the Blythe voice. Yeah, fucking, yeah. Oh my miss, oh yeah, look, I really like this deodorant too. And Moopsy and Ben are losing their shit about this because they can't believe the guy has not even packed his own bag on this holiday that we're on. So he's a great guy, right? But he has no idea about travelling overseas. Initially, when we were talking about the trip, we were like, we're going to go to a few different places. After the event, we're going to go to Prague. We're going to go to Berlin and stuff. Anyway, so Blythe's there, and he's the first time we've seen everyone in person, and he's like, yeah, I can't wait to go to Prague, you guys. I've never heard of it before. He literally called it Prague because he'd never heard it out loud before, and he just read it. Prague. So poor Blitherin, poor Blythe. He's a classic guy though, Moop. He's a classic guy. He was so funny. So on this trip, right? On this trip, the other thing about Blythe you have to understand is we used to call him the idiot savant, because you'd talk to him, you're like, this guy is a fucking peanut. This guy is an absolute fucking peanut who could not get out of his own road. And instead, every time he's like, "Oh yeah, I'm fucking good at that. Yeah, I can do that." You'd be like, "Come on, you're a fucking idiot, mate. You can't do that." And he would go and smash it. And we had this other guy, Guns, and he was like, "Bloody, I'm sick of you talking this shit. I'm gonna fucking smash you at pool, mate." And Bloody's like, "Yeah, I'm pretty good at pool. Yeah, let's play some pool." And Guns is like, "I'm gonna fucking smash you." So they go to the pub and they play a game of pool. Bloody smashes him 5 games in a row. Guns almost had to do a nudie run to the table. And Guns is a very good pool player. Yeah, and Andrew. Andrew, he got smashed. So then Blythe was like, let's play basketball, guys. Yeah, I'm real good at basketball. And it was like, nah, I'm not going to do it. Yeah, Guns had to do push-ups, that's right. He had to do push-ups. Blythe was dunking all over everyone. It was classic. Leaps used to rave about how good he was at basketball. And so he challenged Blythe to a basketball game. And Blythe fucking smoked him. Like, it was classic. Anyway. I'm going off tangent because you've got to understand Blythe to understand the story. So Blythe is a very good man, and but just has no idea what's happening. No idea what's happening. And so we're on our overseas holiday, and he's just happy to be there. He's just one of those guys who's really excited about everyone's here and hanging out with my mates, and it's a great time, which is awesome, and we loved him for that. But we had a few like nights where we didn't have many plans, and everyone was like, yeah, what are we going to do? Oh, let's go out for dinner and stuff. So you have to understand a little bit about Potsy. So Potsy is a man who, in his life, has seen many things and experienced many of the wonders that life has to offer. Some of those wonders include trips to the Asian continent and experiencing the wonders and delights of said continent. As we're a PG show, we're actually not a PG show, but I won't elaborate too much more. Suffice to say, Potsy knew his way around the red light district. So we go out for dinner. We're in London, and we're having an awesome night. We're like, what do you want to do for dinner? Let's go out to a restaurant. There's about the 5 of us. Yeah, there's about the 5 of us. There's 10 of us. Some of the other guys went to a different restaurant. It was fine. They had a really good night. Blythe came with Potsy and me. Were you there, Moops, as well? The Turkish restaurant? Were you at that fucking restaurant that night, or did you go out with Guns? I don't remember. I think Moopsy was there. I think he was there. Anyway, we go out for dinner. We go to a Turkish restaurant where it seems like we were the only tourists. It looked like a local place where there was only like people that really liked the locals. Yeah, I think you were there. So Potsy's sort of taken us to this restaurant. He just picked a restaurant, and we were like, he's got good reviews on Yelp or some shit. We're like, okay, trust the putts. He knows what he's talking about. So we go out for the Turkish restaurant. We have some vodka or whatever the fuck they were giving us, and having a great time. Had our dinner, and then Potsy was like, oh, I'm going to go for a bit of a walk. I'll go for a bit of a walk around the city, guys. Looks at me and just gives me the nod. I'm like, no worries, champ, have a good night. Blythe's like, yeah, I'll go for a walk, that sounds good. And Potsy's like, you don't want to go with the guys, it'd be fine, whatever. Like, no, let's go for a walk, it'd be fucking great. So Potsy's like, okay. So they go for a walk around in this district, around this Turkish restaurant area. They're just walking around, and we hear this story secondhand from Potsy. We're not there, but we basically hear from Potsy. He comes back in the room. He's like, it's about an hour later. It's like, hey guys, how you going? Good, boss. How was your night, mate? We're looking at Blythe like, what's going on? And Potsy says to us, yeah, no, good night. Anyway, what turns out happened is Potsy had just meandered around the red light district until he'd found a lovely establishment where ladies of the night are present, and Blythe had been walking around and enjoying the sights, completely oblivious to what is happening. Completely oblivious. He's like, oh yeah, this is cool, yeah, that's great. Potsy's like, hey, I'm just going to nip in here for a sec. You want to hang out here? He's like, oh yeah, what's this? Potsy's like, oh no, it's chill, I'm just going to pop in for a sec. Blythe's like, no, I'll come in. So Potsy is like, okay, so he goes inside, and Blythe follows him in, and they're in a foyer sort of area, and this lady comes out, she's like, hello sir. Potsy's like, yes, hello, how are you? Has a quick whisper, yeah, just a quick hand job, thanks. And the lady's like, yep, no worries, we'll let you pick out one of our ladies. Anything for your son? And Potsy's like, no, he's fine. So Potsy goes into the room, gets a hand job from the prostitute, while Blythe's sitting at the front. Potsy's sitting at the front. Blythe's at the front, just like, oh, well, this is great. He's got no idea what's happening. So Potty's in there just getting these ones, and Blythe's sitting in the front just like, wow, that's a cool place here. What's going on? Oh, wow, this is awesome. So Potty comes out 10 minutes later or 15 minutes later or whatever, and Blythe's like, oh, awesome, this is great. What are we doing now? Potty's like, yeah, we'll probably just go home now, mate. So they just walk home. And Blythe, I think to this day, is still oblivious to the fact that they went to a brothel. Potty got a hand job while he was sitting at the front. Oh, shit. Oh, it was so good. We did not stop laughing that trip. Did not stop laughing. It was incredible. Incredible time. G'day, White Wolf Ranger. Well, he would have been very he's such a good guy, Blythe, and he absolutely is in love with his wife. Like, she's way too good for him, by the way. Way too good for him. Sky's her name. We all loved her. We all wondered what the fuck she saw in Blythe. But the more you get to know Blythe, the more you understand. He's just a genuinely good human. Mate, you've gone 2 for 2, Dr. Flink. You've missed some bangers. 2 out of 2. Unlucky. Alright, so the best way to do black flame, I should definitely have white candles. So let's do this and this. Dear oh dear. Oh wow. I reckon I could fill this stream with stories from our trips for the last 10 years. Very, very easily. Ah, the putts. Putsy. Trust the putts. It was a running gag for the whole year. We're just like, trust the putts. He knows what he's doing. He won't lead you astray. And then we went to Malaysia. And it was a running gag that Moops was rubbish, right? Moops couldn't organise his way out of a wet paper bag. But Potsy was always the go-to guy. Anyway, the year we went to KL, Potsy, he got sick, I think. He had a really bad head cold. And he just... Everything he touched turned to shit. We were like, Potsy, how do we get home from here, mate? And he's like, follow me. So we followed him for like 40 minutes in the heat. And we rounded this bend, and we literally got back to the same shopping centre that we had just left 40 minutes prior. And we went off at him. We were like, what the fuck, Potsy? It was so hot. I had really bad pollution that year. We were in KL. That's a cool idea. Let's do faded pink. Trust the putts. Oh, we went to Melbourne for a... Oh, fuck, I forgot this one. I might see if I can find a picture of this night because it was very funny. We went to Melbourne for Arcanacon, which is a tournament, a War Machine tournament, many years ago now. What do you reckon, Moops? It would be fucking 2013 maybe? Arcanacon? No, well, I don't know. Whatever year it was a long time ago. And we all stayed in a hostel in the same room, as we want to do in these sorts of functions. And Potsy was like, let's go out for dinner one night, as Potsy often is want to do these sort of events. 2011 was it? No, it can't have been 2011. Surely. Was it? Yeah, maybe it was actually. I keep thinking that my War Machine started in 2012, but 2012 was the year we went to the OETC. So, must have been earlier. Yeah, wow, 10 years ago. So anyway, Potsy's like, let's get out for dinner. So we just started walking, we just followed him. Potsy knows where to go, so we're just chatting away, following. Potsy's like, yeah, let's go in here. Hang on a second, I'll go and see if they've got a table for us. So Potsy walks in, and and he realises at about 3 seconds after walking in the establishment that it was a gay bar. We're all standing out the front, and and we're like, should we go in? Why is he taking so long? And we were all just standing out there for about, I reckon, 15 minutes going, what the fuck is happening, Potts? Anyway, so Pottsy comes back out a bit sheepishly. It's like, hey guys, no, look, wasn't any good. We said, what do you mean it's no good, mate? You're in there for 15 minutes. And he said, well, it's actually a gay bar, and I look like a specific type of gay person, one of those teddy bear things, the big dudes with the beards. And when I walked in, all these dudes were eyeing me off, and I thought if I just walk in and look around and then get creeped out and walk out, it's going to look really suspicious. So I went over to the bar and had a drink. Oh, shit. So we're all standing around the outside while Potsy's inside having a drink at a gay bar. But we ended up going out to a pub that night, and I got pretty inebriated that night. Haven't drunk much since a few years ago, many years ago now, but I did get wildly inebriated that night, and then I participated in the tournament the next day. I qualified for the final of that tournament, and we went out on the Terps, and I got obliterated, and I woke up the next day. It was back in the day of War Machine when they used to play timed turns, not death clock, which probably won't mean anything to anyone else, but so I was basically sitting at a table with my head in my hands trying to play a game, and every 5 or 10 minutes I'd have to go to the bathroom to have a yak, which was good, yeah. Was that the night that was that the trip that what's her name came on Moops? The little brunette. What was her name? The real little one. Tiny thing. Can't remember her name. She was nice. I liked her. Hannah. I liked her. How's Trundle going, by the way? Give him my number. Someone was asking me the other day about painting white, and I said that I would speak about it on my next stream because it was a bit of an involved topic. Well, I'm going to try and talk about it soon. I feel like I probably should have grabbed some reference pictures, but I didn't prepare because I didn't make the decision to stream tonight until quite late on. So I will do my best to explain without pictures, and we'll just hope that things work out. So, white is a very, very difficult colour to paint so that it looks like white. And that is because white as we see it is very, very, very rarely white. It often has lots and lots and lots of colours inside the white that makes it look more natural. And so the trick to painting white is to start with a colour that is similar shades to what is happening around it, because the white is very, very reflective, and you almost don't realise it because you're looking at the white and you just see, oh yeah, it's super bright white, but actually invariably it has other colours in it from around it, but because it is white, our eyes just don't catch it. So you want to start with a relatively high value white colour that has colours from the surrounding environment in it. Then when you highlight up, you just never highlight up to white because it just doesn't look like white. The sort of whites that you see in miniature painting, they're almost always a variety of ivory, cream, off-whites. It's also much, much easier to paint a warm white than it is to paint a cold white. Warm white will look significantly more accurate versus what cold will look like. So I guess it wasn't that involved, but I did want to have some pictures to go with my explanations to explain exactly what I was talking about, but unlucky, you miss out. Maybe I'll go look for some pictures in a second. Should we do some more sculpting? Should we do some more sculpting tonight? Painting flames. Flames are pretty easy. Yeah, so that flames are easy. They are, but the reason they're easy is because you just have to reverse everything that you would normally do. So instead of doing highlights on the tips, you do highlights at the very bottom, and then you go out to a darker colour. So just completely reverse everything you think what you're supposed to do. Roll Joe. Wow. Fucking Potsy. Ah, Simon! You've joined us tonight. How was beautiful Brisbane today, mate? How'd we go on the visits? Let me show you what I'm doing, mate. I'm just doing some quick red stuff for this girl. This thing goes behind her like that. I spoke to Chris O today. He said we went alright today. Happy about that. Moops is playing Tabletop Simulator. Apparently we're not good enough for this guy, Moops. I don't know, it just pops up on my things. Moops is playing Tabletop Simulator, doesn't tell me what game he's playing. Well, that's what it said on my Steam thing. Wow. Outstanding. Currently, I'm rewatching Archer. I'm at season 6. And it is even funnier on a rewatch, I think, than the first time I watched the show. I don't know if any of you have watched that show. If you haven't, do yourself a favour. Load it up, it's on Netflix. Bit of a risque adult show. Of course, White Wolf, ask away, mate. No, the voodoo doll's just going to be like pinky, weird colours, pinky, purpley colours, just to match in with the clothes that she's wearing, the fabrics that she's wearing. Yep, you got it. I reckon season 5, Arch of Vice, is one of the funniest seasons of television ever. But I am laughing more at season 6 than I laughed at season 5 on the rewatch. Season 6 is just hysterically funny. Can't even put my finger on what it is. I'm watching Superstore at the moment with my girlfriend. Also a new addition to Netflix in Australia anyway. Never even heard of the show before it popped up on Netflix about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Fucking very good. Very, very funny. Yeah, The Office is my all-time, mate. If I had to pick one show that I could watch, that I had to watch for the rest of my life, it would be The Office, American version. Star Trek, yeah. I asked this question about our Tuesday night board gaming group. If you could only take 5 TV shows onto a deserted island, what would the 5 TV shows be? They're the only ones you can ever watch for the rest of your life. I had some interesting ones. Freezy was all about this TV show called what was it? No, he had The Sopranos on the list. It wasn't The Wire. I don't think he had The Wire. Yeah, mine was Game of Thrones, just because of the quality of fantasy. The Office, Parks and Rec, Firefly, and then I think I was still tossing up on my last one. Yeah, mate, Dr. Flink, whatever show you want is allowed, mate. It's your deserted island, pal. You do whatever you want. Yeah, you can take it's whole show. You get all of the show. I'm trying to remember what the last one. I think I might have said Buffy. I might have said Buffy for my last one. Firefly, Office, Parks and Rec, Game of Thrones, Buffy. G'day Kung Fu. Yeah, no, I'm not streaming tomorrow night, champion. I've got a work function on tomorrow night, so I won't be able to get on the streams. So I thought I'll just pop in and do one today instead. I'm glad you enjoy story time. Well, Futurama. One of the guys did say Futurama actually. Futurama was close for me. I love that show. Towards the second half of my younger career as a human being, that made absolutely no sense. But when I was about 20 to 25, I was all about Futurama. Absolutely loved it. Oof. I tried to mix up. I tried to mix up like genres, and not just stick too much in the one genre, because I like fucking Game of Thrones so much, just because of how much a fantasy show that is the genre that I have grown up absolutely in love with has permeated society. Fawlty Towers is a good one. They only made 11 episodes though, so that one was hard. Mind you, I did suggest Firefly, so that probably just shows you more how much I like Firefly than anything else. I also watched Fawlty Towers about a bajillion times. You can keep watching Firefly forever. You can. I'm telling you right now. I will. I'll do it. Well, as it's like the Lord of the Rings TV show is supposed to be coming out on Amazon soon, along with the Wheel of Time TV show. So maybe we will be able to take the Lord of the Rings soon. That'd be too much of a gamble for me, taking shows I've never watched. Daredevil is a great show. Daredevil was the pick of the Marvel TV shows on Netflix. Although I did very much enjoy Jessica Jones' first season, didn't enjoy the second season anywhere near as much. And I might be the only person who actually really liked Iron Fist. But yeah, the first season of Iron Fist was a bit shit. Oh, Critical Role. That is a good call actually. So I never watched Critical Role. Never got into it really. Knew of it, but just never watched it. And I started watching it at the start of last year when we had lockdown, because we were playing heaps of D&D, and yeah, a lot of people talked about it. I loved it. It was great. I'm about halfway through the first season, but I haven't finished it. Just been doing other stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna start re-listening to it. Vincent D'Onofrio was unreal. Oh, Peaky Blinders. Yeah, that's a good shout. Yeah, Vincent D'Onofrio as Kingpin is the definitive Kingpin. He is just so perfect for that role. Yeah, wouldn't pick Supernatural. Supernatural was just Buffy the Vampire Slayer done with dudes. I'll take Buffy any day of the week, even if it doesn't hold up as well in the current era. Yeah. The Iron Fist was the only one who was a bit of a miss, right? And even then, the second season really brought it back for me a lot. Also, hello Finn. John Bernthal's The Punisher is fucking incredible. I also like Colleen Wing. She was cool. Same actress as in Game of Thrones. She played one of the most pointless characters in the whole show. What were those girls called again? Daughters of sand serpents, whatever. Yeah. Sand snakes, there you go. Absolutely shithouse characters right there. I did see the Dolph Lundgren Punisher movie. I went through a phase probably when I was in my early 20s, late teens, early 20s, where I was buying heaps of DVDs, and I also went through a phase where I was really into awful films, like just terrible movies. I loved them. I wanted to have them all. And like, remember Waterworld? Waterworld with Kevin Costner? Fuck, love that movie. It was awful. It was a terrible film. Loved it. What 5 movies would I take on a deserted island? Whew. Well, the first one I'd take would be my greatest movie of all time, which is a film called Last of the Mohicans with Daniel Day-Lewis. Oh, hi, Mark. That would be the first one, and then from there it would be tricky. I'll count the Lord of the Rings trilogy as one film because I've watched it as one film before. Yeah, they did film Waterworld on the Gold Coast. They filmed the Pirates of the Caribbean movies in the Gold Coast as well. The Big Lebowski, good shout, Colin. Great one. Yeah, Braveheart would be on the list. Braveheart would probably be on the list. It's a great movie. Also goes for a long time. I'd want to pick movies that go for a long time so I can appreciate them. Oh fuck! I watched Gladiator at the cinemas when I was a little fella. Awesome film. Schindler's. Not enamoured with it. Pitch Black. It was fine. It was fine. Liked it well enough. Nice, yeah. I think probably I would have to include Avengers Endgame because it's been a long time since a movie made me as emotional and emotive as that film did. I was absolutely frothing. I talked about that a couple of nights ago, actually. Yeah, Lord of the Rings is one film. It was filmed as one film, so why not count it as one film? Oh, Fen. Moops hate, yeah, mate. When I went on opening night. I think I've told this story. I went on opening night, packed cinema. Back when you were allowed to go to the cinemas, it was absolutely pumping, and the everyone in the room was cheering, getting super into it. And when Kat picked up Mjolnir, I've never heard a fucking cinema like that. It was just obscene. Everyone was losing their shit. Fight Club, yeah, Fight Club's a possibility. It's just a hard thing, right? Do you take current movies, which are probably slightly more, better, or do you take classics that you love? Like, I'd probably have to include Willow in my list because it was such a seminal movie in my childhood. I watched it so many times when I was growing up. But if we start talking about that, then I'd probably have to include The Sound of Music as well, because that was another seminal movie in my childhood. It was my dad's favourite movie when he was growing up, so he made us watch it, and I loved it. The hills are alive with the sound of music. Bridesmaids, Annie. Aren't you supposed to be at work? You're the reason Luke's not allowed to come to games night, Annie. Come on now. Step Brothers is good. Actually, oh fuck, Wedding Crashers. That was on TV the other night, and I fucking love that movie. Every time I love it. Great film. Do you know, there's a TV show on Netflix called Bridgerton. I think I talked about it. My girlfriend and I watched it. Quite good. Quite a good show. Julie Andrews played a voice of a person in it. And the whole way through I was like, yeah, I can't wait to see Julie Andrews come on in the show. It's going to be great. Because I thought she was voicing an actual person. Apparently she was not. Oh, Terminator 2. Judgment Day. Matrix, yeah, the Matrix would be up there. I'm only kidding, Annie. I didn't mean what I said before. Please let me still come to your house when it gets finished being built. Yeah, probably Inception. Probably Inception. I really love the Batman movies, but Inception was a film where I was very impressed about filmmaking, the filmmaking of it, you know. Interstellar was kind of like good, but Memento was good. Guy Pearce, that was pretty good. I think what we're finding out here, friends, is that there is a metric shit ton of good movies. I never saw Tenet. Freezy and Wedge were raving about it when it came out. Alright, let's put this aside for a bit, friends. So we're gonna maybe add a little bit more warmth. Tone it down a bit. And then just see where we're at. Because, here's a cool thing actually I did. I just blue tacked this down so I could pull it off and glue it in. See how we're looking. I'll zoom out so we can have a look. So I reckon we need to darken the wood a bit more. Let me look at it out here. Yeah, we may need to just darken the wood a smidge more, I think. So, put that on the list of things to do. But I'm going to leave that for a bit. Let's paint some more on this girl. He-Man. He-Man. I did take a photo. I started building the base today of the diorama. See you, Moopers. Equilibrium. That was a good film. Can I zoom this out any further? This is the problem with me trying to film me making this base. Because I'm going to be doing it from this angle and it's never going to look right. I suppose I could pull the camera back and down. Maybe that'll work. Yeah, so Drizzt is going to stand here on this little ledge. Caddy Bree stands here on her rock that's already made. Wolfgar is going to stand up the back here on this rock like so. And that is going to firstly hide him a little bit from the rest of the team because he's going to have my bad sculpting. But also it makes him the tallest character, which helps him look a little bit more imposing, which is a bonus. And he looks really good with his cloak flapping around behind him. He looks pretty cool. So yeah, I'm gonna do most of this off stream. Build the base. I might paint it on stream, but it's an awkward thing to try and paint on a stream. So yeah, we shall see. Total Recall is a genuine masterpiece. I talked about making my girlfriend watch that. Classic. She did not love it. Get to Mars! Get your ass to Mars! You're not you, you're me. No shit. Never loved The Sixth Sense. It was fine, but it never really wowed me as much as everyone else seemed to have been wowed by it. Whew. Oh, Lopez, rock and roll. I, Robot, very good film indeed. We're definitely establishing this as difficult. Oh yeah, Valerian. I saw that at the movies. I liked it. My girlfriend at the time thought it was absolute rubbish. I enjoyed it. $300. Whew, love that. I've still got my DVD collection sitting in my room in there. Maybe I should go and have a poke around and see if there's any classics that we've missed. Which edging, mate? Which edging are you referring to? You don't even know what I'm doing, you clown. I'm not doing an edging in black because it's going to be black roses. I'm going to do some more contrast paints to add more depth of colour. Yeah, peanut. Dear oh dear. Oh, thanks PN Marks. Hey, Wumper, I'm just gonna... Is it okay if I do this? Is it okay if I do this, mate? Do I have your permission to paint this bit the way that I want to paint it? Is that alright? Well, suck it, Trebek! Oh, Randall, you're chasing the 5K, mate. It's gonna take you a while. And you know what I'm gonna do? When you get to 4.8, I'm gonna delete all your points, so you don't get to choose a song for me to sing. Top 5 Arnold movies: Conan the Barbarian, Total Recall, The Sixth Day, Predator. And True Lies. True Lies. True Lies. Total Recall, definitely. Conan, definitely. True Lies is just a fucking hysterical film. I don't reckon I knew Arnie was funny until I saw that film. Whenever it came out, I hadn't seen that many Arnie movies. But he's talking to his mate when he's riding a horse down the middle of New York or wherever it is, and he's asking him to do all this stuff. He's like, and I need you to hurry because my horse is getting tired, as he's riding his horse down the fucking... Oh, classic. What colour is Peach's eyes? I don't remember. Twins. Twins is the one where he got pregnant. No, it was Junior. You're right. I just remembered that. Twins is the one where him and Danny DeVito were twins. See you at the party, Richter. Oh, I lied. Everybody, chill. Arnold, top 160 movie quotes. This is the greatest YouTube video of all time. Maybe. The best. The best! Do yourself a favour and just watch that. What was his name? Yeah, the guy who Bennett. Hey Bennett, let off some steam. Oh shit. So good. Last Action Hero, yeah. Here's the thing about Arnie, right? He is actually the fucking best, because I don't know when, but somewhere along the way, right? He started becoming a fucking hilarious actor, and he wasn't just getting cast for his physical prowess. He was getting cast because he was fucking funny. And then even, I don't know if you guys remember, he did a film a few years ago when he was old, and it was called Maggie, and he played a dad whose daughter was a zombie, and he was incredible in it. He was like brilliant. So he's actually got acting chops, Arnie. Yeah. So I quite like Big Arnold. He's one of my favourites. With loyal friends joining my party. Each step I take, I'm fulfilling my vow. Crush your enemies, see them driven before you. Hear the lamentation of the women. Hear the lamentation of the women. Crom, where is the wizard who killed my mother? That's also on there. That's Arnold Schwarzenegger in Conan the Barbarian, the musical, also on YouTube. Another very worthwhile 3 to 4 minutes of your time. Hear the lamentations of the women. You're a fucking quiet boy. Oh. Man, we've had some fascinating chats tonight, friends, haven't we? Look, mate. If I can be very direct and upfront with you, as I am with everyone, and always, all the time, I just never have any fucking idea how to do flowers either, mate. Punish my rear. That is a follower name that I can get behind. Well, I thought it was funny. Done. Jean-Claude. Yeah, he was good. I mean, when there was a movie. There's two movies of his that I love. Thank you, Punish My Rear. Bloodsport. Love that movie. And there was another one that was like Bloodsport version 2. It was called The Quest. Long time ago now. It wasn't one of his popular films. I fucking love that movie. Loved it. Yeah, spot on. And they went to China for a fighting competition because, the American boxer who was supposed to take part in the ancient Chinese competition fell ill or something. It's been fucking forever since I've watched that movie. It's been fucking forever since I watched Bloodsport. So here's my feeling on Bond. Sean Connery is the best Bond of all time, bar none, with Daniel Craig in second place. But the Daniel Craig Bond films are far and away superior to every other Bond film. Oh, I've never prayed to you before. And if you do not listen, then to hell with you. To hell with you. Oh, thanks, bud. What a shock. What a shock that I'll be able to pull it out of the fire, pal. Hey? Fuck. It's almost like years of practice will get you somewhere. Don't tell anyone, it's a secret. That's it, mate. It's all the natural talent I was gifted with from birth. When I was born with a paintbrush in my hand. I think Frosty Worldwide may have been slightly facetious when he said the talent piece. Awesome, White Wolf, that's great. Good for you, mate. Get it done. Post a picture in the chat, mate. We'll have a look. And if it is shit, we'll tell you. I'm sure it's not. Well, actually, I'm sure it probably is. But it won't be as shit as what it would have looked like had you not painted it at all. These guys get it. They get it. They get it. Let's have a look. White Wolf. Having a little look right now. Very nice. What is that? Is that one of the Witch King or something from Lord of the Rings? One of those guys? Numenorian warrior. Excellent. Good for you, champion. That'll look 10 times better on the table than it would unpainted. And that is a successful paint job. I was going to do I'm going to do a bit of a studio tour today. Actually, we'll do a little studio tour after I finish painting this girl, because I have unplugged my fucking camera a bit, and so it's actually easily accessible for me to lift it up and show everyone what it looks like. Let's do that right now, actually, friends, shall we? Let's do it right now. Alright, stand by. Let's just undo this saucy little number. Alright, here we go. Isn't this exciting? Coming to you live from Big Deno's studio. Let's have a look. Alright. So first of all, I'm going to go from the other side because it doesn't stretch that far. So first of all, this is my chair. Let me just turn the brightness up. There we go. So this is my chair. And over here we have the work in progress shelf, which has got all of my work in progress models. Underneath that we've got the airbrush and other accoutrements. Then here we've got the monitor. That's creepy looking, yes. And the paint rack with all of my paints, some other paints. Here is my microphone, which just sits here. Here is the first of my two lights. So that sits directly above the model. And I also have another light up here, which is illuminating my face. This is my photograph taking area. So I just use this light and lift it up. And then I put my tripod on my desk. Oh yeah, the mic's awesome. It's a legit mic. The kombucha is used for parching my my thirst, quenching my thirst. Here's my new computer that I bought a couple of days ago with cool colours. Here's my stupid fucking splitter that's causing me massive problems. Stupid splitter. And there's my TV that I watch the cricket on, the Big Bash. Here's the bits and pieces for my diorama that I'm working on at the moment. Here's some other little knickknacks that people have given me over the years, including some of my trophies. Up the top here is just spray cans and stuff, and this is Sirius Black's wand, which is great. Then this is my tripod that I use to hold up the camera. So it's a weighted tripod so that the weight actually stabilizes it from one end so it doesn't tip over, and then it gets attached to this and it sits here. But the cool thing is my hands, there's no problems with my hands there. So if we have a look behind me, this is where I keep all of my assorted shit for my models. So we've got, that's my bits and pieces for my diorama. That's Kingdom Death models, that's my camera over there. There's my plinth collection, some Necromunda models I'm going to paint for Koki. My collection of models, display models to be painted. Water bottles and other stuff. More stuff, my towels, because this is also my linen closet. And just some other bits and pieces that are used for terrain, assorted knickknacks and so on. Going back to the table, hello friends. Here's my keyboard. Ooh, also new that I bought the other day. And is there anything else? I can't really, my display cabinet for my models, let me see if I can reach my display cabinet for my models. Come on, you can do it. It's just that you can see it, it's there, there you go. So there you go, that's my setup. I've got a little paint thing there, that's where I keep my airbrushes there and some other stuff. There's my Logitech camera. It's not my pantry, it's like a little corridor. The laundry's just there and the kitchen's just there, and it's like a linen closet. But this is cool. Thank you, Nicky Jaguar. I'd love to invite you over, but I don't like you that much. It's a townhouse. It's a townhouse. The DVD collection. G'day, wrong way, go back. The DVD collection sits in the spare room, the second bedroom. That's in there, and the camera just won't stretch that far, friends. But it's exhaustive. It would be 500 DVDs strong. I don't think there's anything else. Oh yeah, I'll show you in my drawers actually. So this is my tool drawer, which I use for all of my various tools. I'm a very organised person, in case you hadn't noticed. And this is my hot wire cutter, some sponge cloths and some sandpaper. And this one has my Dremel bits and my replacement airbrush bits and my masks and glasses for stuff. Under here is where the hairdryer is. Here's the hairdryer and the Dremel hooked up, ready to go. Look at that, great stuff. Alright, let's put this back in here. Sorry friends, but that was fun, wasn't it? We all enjoyed that. The wet palette is here. Can't see it at the moment because Flick broke my camera setup. It is a Sony, yes. It's a Sony AX33. It's a handy cam. So there you go. Yeah, you're right, mate. Your advice. That's the common factor. It was working fine until you got involved. No, that's not true, Flick. I don't know what's causing it, mate. Because I tried both, Randall, both. I tried I've tried moving all of the different USBs into different spots. Yeah, I tried that front port. That was the first one I tried last night, and that froze after 10 seconds. So I wonder if that's not a USB 3. The cam link. The lights aren't too hot actually, because they're LEDs. Yeah, they get a bit hot. This one doesn't. This one's not hot. This one up the top is. But they're not too hot. It's just Brisbane, mate. You need a fan, right? Well, the light is, how to describe this, so the light is directly above the model here, so that is on the light right now, the paintbrush pointing down, but my angle is this way, So I have complete and total visibility of the model here with an unbroken eye line, no problems. Where I'm holding it right now is completely a natural place for me to paint, where I'm looking straight down and no problems at all. I do try to sort of have a little bit more central and like twist a little bit, but it's not too bad, manageable. It usually is. It usually is an angle issue. Just ask Punish My Rear. Okay, I'll try that. I don't know really how you can tell which ones are different hubs, but I've tried moving them all around. My keyboard's randomly switched off twice too. It's just, look, you look at the top left, it tells you the latest follower. I do go to CanCon, yes, wrong way go back. It's one of my favourite times every year. I'm the guy who runs the painting competition there. Yes, I absolutely went last year. Had a ripping good time. Yes, I was one of the judges. Yes, indeed. The guy who organised the competition, that was me. Well, I think the keyboard's only a new keyboard, and I installed it, and it popped up saying, "Do you want to install XYZ program?" And I said, "No, fuck off." But I reckon that might be part of the problem. I might have needed to install that driver. Fuck yeah, good for you, mate. I remember my face as well. Excellent White Wolf range. Yeah, we've got a lot of great Australian people on the old Twitches. Do you guys have a Games Workshop down there now? That's cool. Broadbeach, there you go. Go G-Dub. When I use the airbrush, Mr. Lopez, I do occasionally use the mask. If I'm going to be doing a lot of airbrushing of a lot of paints, I'll put the airbrush on. I'll put the mask on. Excellent. That's the sort of attitude Games Workshop wants to hear about, hey? Good work, guy. Promoting the hobby. I worked for Games Workshop for a few years, friends, in my younger days before I got my existing job. And, yeah. You get an eclectic mixture of people that work at those places. Some of them are amazing. Some of them are less than amazing. I chatted about this on Oz Machine a couple of times, right? The old wargaming hobby doesn't necessarily attract people with great social skills. That's a generalisation, but there's a basis of it that's steeped in some fact. And those are the people that generally find themselves working in environments like that. And those people look at their success in little toy soldiers as their self-worth. And so when someone has an opportunity in that situation to show how good they are at little toy soldiers, that helps them with their self-worth problems. And we talked about it heaps about, you know, bringing people into the hobby, and how there was almost nothing more important than showing that person how much fun they could have and what a good time it could be. And then you have people like that are yeah. And I don't it's tricky, right? Because people like that need to have lick the brush, but I don't actually lick it and suck the paint back. I use it to shape the tip of the brush, so the tip of the brush stays in a point. Yeah, when you've got people who are gauging their self-worth based on how good they are at little toy soldiers, they make poor decisions sometimes about how they should use their little toy soldier experience, and that would be something I would love for them to not do. But yeah, it's not an isolated incident, unfortunately. But it's not even about age, Flixer. It's about self-confidence and about self-worth. And many people working in hobby stores are people who were probably bullied when they were younger for liking nerdy stuff, so they didn't develop a lot of self-worth, didn't really probably have struggled to make friends, and so there's a lot of systemic issues there that they don't really have opportunities to progress past. But this is the thing, right? So I've met so many amazing people through Little Toy Soldier games, and pretty much all my best friends are from Toy Soldier world, universe, and you just need to help them. I don't know. I don't want to speak too poorly of what I consider my people, right? Because I have always grown up in that environment and just absolutely loving it. Getting picked on because I was a nerd. They didn't pick on me too much because I was twice the size of most of them, but I was also a big goofball, so I didn't really know how to handle myself that well. And so I empathise with people that are in that situation, because people want to feel good about themselves, right? Yeah, I completely agree. Wrong way. It just comes back to people that they gauge their own self-worth based on how good they are at a specific thing, and in this instance that specific thing is Little Toy Soldiers. Hey Bazza! Thanks mate. Yeah, no, I go alright these days, Baz. Carving up. Not only with the toy soldier painting, but also with the ladies, mate, carving up. Chicks love miniature painters. I think everyone that's like invested in this hobby, you will meet mostly people that have had challenges forming friendships. Again, I'm generalising, but it's just the types of people. I don't know. Maybe they're attracted to this sort of stuff. Maybe the fantasy tropes, the things that the fantasies that inspire us are because we didn't have those positive experiences when we were younger and just wanted to be the hero of our own stories. Who knows? Who knows, right? I'm sure some psychoanalysts could get into it and understand all of the reasons. I'm not here to do that. I'm just here to say those dudes probably don't even realise why they're doing it, and we have an opportunity to be better than those dudes and try to introduce people in a positive and constructive way. And not hold it against those dudes for doing a shit job. We can only control what we do, what we put out into the world, and I choose to put out cool little toy soldier painting, great Potsy stories, and punishing many rears. Oh, Nicky Jags is following. What a guy. There's a good observation back there from wrong way, go back. I think he's just said like that the people that are attracted to this hobby are generally better adjusted these days, but there are also a group of ones that are even worse than those guys. So yeah, it's been another weird chat night, hasn't it? Last night we had Posse stories. This night we've had all sorts of weird gear going on. Crazy. What's going on, Wampa? You want to tell me how to paint flowers again, do you? Let's do it. I'm down. Now, one thing I haven't done on this model at all yet, actually, is a glaze of... How's it song time, Randall? You're fucking hundreds away from it, mate. You are hundreds away. You don't get to sing a song. You don't get to make Big Dano sing a song. You're a peanut. Give it a rest. As I've said in this chat, wargaming has brought me more friendships and more great experiences in my life than anything else. And I am always supportive of like playing miniature games and meeting new people and playing stuff like War Machine and everything. It's been incredible. So Flickster, but the one caveat to that is it's all about the people you play with. So unfortunately, the same thing happened to the Guild Ball tournaments at my local shop and the War Machine tournaments at my local shop as well. I don't know why. I do know why. It's because I fucking smashed everyone. White Wolf, you can't contribute points to a communal pool to make me sing, but there are probably a few people that have enough points stored up that if you ask to chat nicely, someone will volunteer their points. Oh, Azatoth, my friend, how wrong you are. Take it from the guy who won shit tons of tournaments. It's got nothing to do with the dice rolls. Nothing. Yeah, Flick. It does upset me to hear about people that have that experience, because I didn't have a great experience when I went into a Games Workshop store, and then I ended up working there. Oh mate, no, I've not played a war game that's determined by dice. Dice will change, will provide decision points, but I can look back on every single game that I've ever played of a competitive tournament game, and not once have I lost a game because of a dice roll. Shit players blame dice rolls. Yeah, Flick. I wish you had a better experience, mate. I wish you did. I buy on the PC is a shit game. It's so annoying. There was two guys in Brisbane who played War Machine with me. David Potts, who we've talked about, and a guy named Josh Bates. And in the 5 years we played tournaments in Brisbane, no one other than us three won a tournament over 5 years. Yeah, got the storm, mate. So here's a life lesson for everyone, friends. Here's a life lesson that I believe will help you in anything, and it is called responsibility. In the words of Peter Parker's uncle, Ben Parker, with great power comes great responsibility. Well, some of you may have read this book. I contend that what it should have said is, with great responsibility comes great power. And to extrapolate on that and explain what that means, when you take accountability and responsibility for the things that happen to you, immediately you then have the power to change those things. So we have a choice when it comes to miniature wargaming. We can say, it is not my fault that I lost this game because the dice told me I was going to lose. If you go, it was my fault that I lost that game, and I'm going to think about why, immediately you are taking responsibility for what happened, which means you now have the power to change what happened. this can apply to any aspect of your life. When you take responsibility for what happens, you can change what happens. Now, it can be a very hard thing to do in situations where, in certain situations, so I don't want a blanket statement and say people are only homeless because they haven't changed their life, because that's a shit thing to say. But when you take ownership and accountability of the actions that you take, instead of blaming other external factors, and you have the opportunity to change those things. So for me, when it comes to miniature painting or miniature gaming, I take control of the choices that I make, as opposed to giving that control to dice rolls that occur throughout a game. And as a result, I used to win 95 to 100% of my games in every game system I ever played. The same thing applies to miniature painting. I have control over how well I get, how well I go at painting models. That's a choice that I make, that's in my control. I choose to get better. I choose to practice and enjoy what I'm doing. And that in turn means I continue to improve. I'm trying to break down some very, very well researched topics into simple terminology, which is often what I do in my job. But yeah, 6 to 7 days a week, wumper. But that whole piece about responsibility, you can apply to every aspect of your life. Every aspect of your life. And I used to use a golf analogy, right? I don't know if you guys play golf. I played golf for a while, about 10 years. I was off a handicap of 11. Golf is one of those games where when you first start out playing golf, you just go out there and you hit the ball and stuff, and the ball will end up under a tree, and you'll be like, this is fucked. This is fucked. So you just kick your ball out from under the tree and then have your shot. But it wasn't until 18 months into me playing golf that I realised, or that I decided, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to fucking just take my shot. I'm going to learn how to play this shot. And bang, that was a decision where I'm going, I'm not going to blame the situation for where I'm at. I'm going to take ownership of the fact that I played a shit shot, and I'm going to learn how to get myself out of it. And the moment I started doing that, my scores just improved through the roof. So, yeah. Ownership and accountability. Talk about it all the fucking time. There's a lot more to it. Like, getting better, there's a lot more to getting better than that. But if you walk away from every situation in your life that happens to you, good or bad, and you go, what could I have done better? What could I have done differently to have improved the result that I got? Then you continue to grow and improve. What things did I have responsibility for? What things could I have changed or made better? And it's most evidence for me in my miniature painting, because it's the one area of my life where I feel like I've really been able to live that mentality of, well, if I don't get better, it's my own fault, and if I made mistakes, it's because I chose to make those mistakes, and I'm going to make a choice to get better. Yes, when I was at my peak, I was playing golf 2 times a week and going to the driving range 2 times a week. And that was when I was at my best. And I reckon if I had gone to the driving range 5 times a week, I would have been better again. Am I not under the painting tag? I'm under art, aren't I? I started painting miniature games when I was a little tucker, like 10 or 11, from a local shop near me called Games Workshop. It was great. And yeah, I just learnt myself. I didn't get better at miniature painting, like to the standard I'm at now. And what do I have to refresh my tags? Why do I have to do that? Can't I just set and forget? Ah. Okay. What else? What other tags can I put? Painting. Yes. Is there a tag for being a mad dog? Being a mad dog. No results found. That's a shame. Warhammer. It's not really Warhammer. Fucking red! Contemporary dance. What do you reckon? I put myself down as contemporary. Knitting! I should say it's a knitting stream. I'm knitting together stories of magnificence. Latin music. Randall's on the stream. He likes that. Acoustic. I'm singing some acoustic tracks. Mindfulness. There's probably a lot of mindfulness actually. Magnificent. Art commissions, technically I suppose. Fan art. I'm a big fan of my own work, so that probably counts. Musician. I think my singing's good enough to be a musician. Singing. There is actually a singing tag. I'm putting singing on my tag. Update information. I'm trying to toss up what I want to do with this model, right? So I might sell it, but I'm also thinking I might give it away as a subscribers thing. What do you think about that plan, friends? Is that something I should do? I know, I'm not good enough to trade with good painters. I'll just pay them. They deserve to be paid for their work, not have some shit guy go, "Hey mate, do you want to trade this really cool fucking model I painted? It's real good, bro." No. We shan't be trading. That's it. I was thinking I might do, like, when we hit a certain number of subscribers, and I might just give her away to one of the subscribers. Does that seem just like a straight money grab though? Because I don't really want it to be a straight money grab. That's my glue. Yeah, I sort of just want to be able to thank the people that subscribe. But at the same time, if I sold that, I'd make like $400-500. So I figure if I'm gonna make $400-500 out of subscribers, then I'm no worse off than I would have been. Which I'm not really anywhere near, I suppose, but. Yes, I decided I wanted to paint some stuff more seriously. I painted some Guild Ball teams a bit more seriously, and they were fun, but I wasn't really improving until I went and took a class in Brisbane with a painter called Meg Maples. Hey, Salty. G'day, mate. Yeah, he's going okay. I told you I can sculpt okay. I go alright. It's just not something I'm doing a lot of. And so when you don't do something much, you don't get better. Yeah, Megsy. I did Megsy's class. She ended up staying at my house actually. That class, which was very fun. And she stays with me every time she comes to Brisbane now. I haven't seen her in a while because of COVID. She's a good egg, Meg. Yeah, she's doing classes in Melbourne. She's not doing them in Brisbane at the moment. I'm going to do one in Brisbane later on in the year. Probably, I don't know. Soon. Get your meds happening, Wampa. Alright, we're going to try and sculpt a tabard thing. Let's see how we go. Pancake, I don't know of any. So a guy from Newcastle actually messaged me. His name's Derek, and he asked me if I wanted to teach a class in Newcastle. And I said I wasn't confident with COVID around the travel, like booking travel and stuff, and I would feel like a dickhead if I took people's money and then didn't turn up. So yeah, I don't know that I will. Hi, Lord Shader. I don't know of any classes in Sydney coming up. So we had a really good run for a while. I was organising people from overseas to come over for painting competitions and painting classes for KenCon and Crystal Dragon, and I'd organise all their classes and stuff for them as well. So we had quite a few years there. We had some awesome classes. In Australia, the best place to go is the Oz Painters Facebook page, and it does depend on the class as to how much it costs. My class, which is a one-day class, is like $150, $160, but that also includes a model, and it only goes for one day. Some of the other people, their classes are more expensive and they go for 2 days. So I would say the ballpark figure for a 2-day class these days is about $300. But you usually get a model, you get 2 days worth of teaching with some people who are generally world class, and so I think they're very worthwhile. I'm in Brisbane, wrong way, go back. Beautiful Brisbane. So when I fucking sculpt this sort of stuff, yeah, look, honestly, mate, every class I've ever done, I haven't walked away thinking, well, that was a waste of fucking money. I've done a lot of classes. I also did a one-on-one private coaching with Raphael Pica from Massive Voodoo. Lord Shader's talking about Roman Lepart's other guy from that, and he was awesome, absolutely awesome. Facebook page is called Oz Painters. I'm looking for some specific stuff here, friends, so sorry if I look a little bit distracted. I started a bit late tonight, so I'm going to go for a little bit longer than normal. There it is. We have some plasticard. relatively thin plastic card. Look, honestly, private coaching with those guys, it is the best way to level up so quickly. Did you get your meds? Good man. Yeah, those guys, they break it down in a way that is approachable, and my experience with Rafa is one of the things that leveled me up along with Meg's class. Oz Painters OZ, maybe try OZ if you looked up Oz AUS. Oh, thanks, Stainbeard Jim. Woohoo! Stainbeard Jim's the guy who does Jim's Stainbeard's finishes in Australia. He's a great fan of the show. Yes, Sergio. I was trying to get Sergio to come over to Australia. He was next on my hit list. I asked him about it when I was at Monty, and he said he was keen. And then we all know what happened. So, it didn't happen. So, two things. I'm using Magi-Sculpt. I purchased it from El Greco Miniatures because I just wanted to try it. It seems to be pretty good. It dries very hard, but I don't like it as much as I like Milliput generally, but I find it holds its shape a smidge better than the Milliput. And what I'm going to do for this, I want something that's going to hold its shape a little bit more, I think anyway. I make this stuff up a lot of the time, so. No, Dharma, this is, well, it's actually a He-Man model, but no, it's supposed to be a dude from my diorama from, fuck, I'm struggling. A diorama from Forgotten Realms book series called whatever the fuck it's called. Wow, I'm having a rough time right now, friends. Wolfgar, thanks Wampa. Thanks, mate. My brain just went to mush for a second there. So one of the things I've found most challenging about sculpting, and as I've said, I've done a little bit, I'm not great, but I go okay. One of the things I find most challenging is when, I use that quite a lot too. One of the things I find most challenging is when something doesn't hold its shape. So what I've done to help this hold its shape is actually glue that little bit of plastic card at the back there. So that means this is not going to disappear and keep pushing back when I sculpt. It's just going to hold its shape. So sculpting for me is all about two things. It's all about the tools that you use and understanding how the material reacts. So I have a variety of sculpting tools. This is what I generally use, just an old G-Dub sculpting tool to mush stuff into place. This is my detail dentist's pick that I use for doing detail. And then I have a variety of these rubber shapers, which I use to smooth stuff out. The rubber shapers are really important. So we're going to try and just add some natural folds. So you need to use lubricant on the tools. And the best lubricant in my experience is saliva. I'm sure other painters would use, or other sculptors would use different stuff, but saliva works for me. So that's what I'm going to continue to use. So this rubbers and lubricant, you got it. This cloak flows this direction, so I'm going to try and have this swoosh a little bit that way as well. That it does, my friend, that it does. So the next thing I find is, yeah, just keep a lookout, mate. So if I can be very frank with you, White Wolf, there's not many people doing classes at the moment. The only people that are me and Meg in Australia. And if there is going to be a class in Australia from an international painter, I'll probably be the one that organises it. So just keep a lookout for my posts and you'll see it. So the other thing that I use quite a lot, which is important, is this paintbrush. So I find that one of the most important steps is smoothing everything out, and using a paintbrush will just do that. Try to make it a clean one though instead of a shit one. You can actually shape with your brush as well. Yeah, so having sharp edges on things will make it look better usually. So the other advantage of this stuff is it dries, yeah, there your little hair, of the Magi Sculpt is it dries like a rock. So I'll be able to sand this down a little bit just to help it in its shape. Legit question, yes, you can use a stiff dry brush, you can create lots of stuff. Yeah, easy as, look at that, job done. The underside of the model, or the underside of the cloak, or the tabard, sorry. Yeah, why? I mean, you're going to pick it up and have a look at his Jats crackers, mate? I doubt that you are. So, a lot of saliva, the right tools, and most importantly for me, anyway, is this brush afterwards will help smooth out your mistakes. That's just water. That'll smooth your blend, smooth your roughness, and get you cooking with some gas. No, it was a dude that was riding a battle cat, and so I've had to just make some legs that look like he's not riding a horse. I will show you how to do some fur in a second, because we're going to do some fur just here, I think. We'll do some fur. Oh, thank Ray Eats Paint. Thanks, buddy. Welcome. This is not my preferred substance for using fur, for doing fur actually, but I'll show you anyway because you can do it with anything. But so we're gonna just get a little sausage of stuff. I'm just gonna put it in this spot here. Get on there, you little fuck. So we just want a little uneven clump of stuff. I'll zoom in for you, friends, actually, now that I think about it. And so you need a pointy tool, and you start at the top and then you just pull the stuff around. It needs to be smushed in pretty hard. Maybe I haven't smushed it enough. Easy as that. Job done. Hey, on your Ray, thanks for following, champion. G'day to you, buddy. G'day to you. I'm going to hope you're saying g'day because you are an Australian, and that is great. And if you're not an Australian, it's still great, mate. I still think you're great. Awesome, Sydney. And the winner is Sydney. Look, mate, I'll just give you a very brief rundown of what's happening right now. I bought a model for a diorama, and the model that I bought for the diorama was the perfect model, and it was the perfect scale, and when it arrived it was dog shit, and it was way off the scale. So instead I've had to attempt... Oh, thanks buddy, that's awesome. I've had to attempt a sculpture, which is not my forte, to try and make it look like this model fits into my diorama. Is this way more boring for people, is it? Sorry. I wasn't sure if this was going to be a good idea to stream or not. Haha, cool. That's fun, yeah. Chopped him up last night. Bit of a spur of the moment thing, but why not? Mate, it is this material here is called Sculpt. It's a two-part epoxy resin. You can just use milliput or green stuff. Both will work absolutely a-okay. Where is my knife? Here it is. The yellow stuff is milliput that I did before the stream, and it is dried. It only takes about 2 hours to dry. The cool thing about milliput is you can sand it and scrape it. Dries pretty hard, but the Sculpt dries even harder. So I'm just trying to do like some Barbarian fur stuff here. That will look like he has some animal pelts. Oh, see you, Flink. Thanks for popping on, mate. Alright, we will finish up after I do this little bit of sculpting. I tell you the thing that pisses me off about sculpting is it just, you have to be patient, and I'm not a patient man, friends. I want stuff done. I want shit done quickly. I want that shit in my mouth as soon as possible, in and around my mouth, get it in there. And sculpting is like, you have to be patient. Let me finish this and then I'll answer that question, my friend. You do realise I'm gonna do this diorama in a similar time frame, Lord Shader, and you guys will get to see it on stream probably. For anyone interested, this tool I picked up from a dentist's friend of mine who had a few tools he was getting rid of, but he said you can buy them from like a special dentist place. I imagine they're probably more accessible. I've had this tool for like 15 years. Yeah, I imagine they're more accessible these days. Well, I'm glad that you identified with Drizzt. I did. No, I wouldn't say I identified with him that much actually. I just really love the books. The books just. I like stories of redemption and heroism. My favourite author is actually David Gemmell, whom I might leave to chat about on another stream because he is fucking the man. Absolutely the man. Favourite author, David Gemmell. Yeah. Favourite book series, Wheel of Time, but the Dresden Files a close second. Alright, so tomorrow when this is dried, I'll just do a little trim of this section down here so it's a little bit more jagged. And I'll just trim these so these look a little bit more correct. At the moment this section in the middle here is fucking us over, but that should look fine once I just trim that. And then I've run out of putty, so I'm not going to do any more tonight, but I may add some more little plates that come out a little bit longer in this shape as well. This here is just a smidge too harsh at the moment, So I'm gonna fill a little bit of that in so it's not quite as harsh. I have Red Robin Hob, yes. This one you won't see as much. This knee needs a little bit of trimming, so I'll do that. And yeah, then we're pretty much done. I've just got to do the arm now. And yeah, so we'll try and do that on the next stream. Yeah, I'm fucking jazzed, mate. I'm following on Twitter. As I said, I follow 12 people on Twitter. One of them is the Wheel of Time TV show. Excellent. All right, dry, my pretty, dry. So here is what we did tonight on stream, friends. I'm going to answer your question too, Azatov. But here is our efforts on stream tonight. A satisfactory performance in my books. We did some sculpting. We did some more work on this. There you go. We did some more. We did this and this. So we're getting to a point now where this chick can go together and we can finish everything off. Thanks, Valerian 99. Welcome. So that'll be cool. I'm pretty happy with that. And we did the sculpting. Yeah, you're talking about this sculpting on this looks different from the other day when I cut the model to bits and positioned the legs. Look how little his feet are. Got to change his feet. No, I probably won't actually. Yeah, you've just got to. So the reason it looked different, the reason it looked wrong before, is because the legs were not properly proportioned. So what I did with that wire and the stuff that I positioned it was just get the legs to be in the framework that I wanted them to be in, and then you fill in the musculature like that. So that, I mean, it's not, I won't say it's easy, but the more you do it, the better you get at it. So I get by with my sculpting. This is some of my best work on the back here, particularly the ball sack. No. We'll do a bit on the back. The cloak's going to cover up a lot of it. Yeah, he's got quaddies and stuff. So yeah, that's going to cover up a fair chunk of the stuff at the back. So I don't really need to worry too much about it. I'll show you. Thank you. So yeah, so he all we really need to do now is focus on just making sure this looks similar to this side, and filling in a little bit this more detailed, and then we will just think about this arm. The arm is the big one. So the problem with the arms, so arms are more like legs you can get away with, but arms are more noticeable when the musculature is wrong. So this is how his arm sits, and that is not going to work for me. So we're going to have his arm resting down like this over that thing, holding a different weapon. That's going to involve a lot of shaping of that shoulder and the musculature of that upper bicep, tricep region. But fortunately I have some anatomical knowledge and we shall get by. In answer to your question, Azatov, I would bring 5 books of the Wheel of Time, and those 5 books would be the following books. My favourite one, which is The Shadow Rising. My second favourite one, which is Lord of Chaos. Number 5, Fires of Heaven. Probably 2 and 3, The Great Hunt and The Dragon Reborn. Because for me that was the peak of the book series. Number 7, Ended, The Battle for Dumai's Wells. Fuck, majestic. Rand breaks out of the box. I am the Lord of the Morning. They shall pay. Fucking awesome. Anyway, alright, what was I going to do? No, that is good. Your other question was, how do you make tattoos look less cartoony and face paint? The way I do it is I airbrush after I've done the tattoos and the face paint, and just sort of some homogenizing glazes that ties the colours together a little bit. Another way you can do it is by mixing in the skin tone colour with the paint. But tattoos is probably a very broad question that I will probably do a whole stream on. I might pick a model we're going to do soon, do tattoos and shit all over it. We'll do that. All right, friends, 10:30. Good sesh tonight. Good chats. Good putsy stories. What? Carcharodons? What the fuck is that? Thank you all. Yeah, no, you're all awesome. What a great chat we have. Everyone's really awesome. Super friendly. I'm not going to do fucking Space Marines. I refuse. Let's go have a peep at who we're going to raid. All of you legends. Who is on tonight to raid? Let's see. The Warhammer Hobby Room, Mini Matties. I don't like any of those. Oh, Mike Disney's on. Mike Moans is painting a pirate walrus. Mike Disney was the guy painting the thing the other day. What's Mike Moans doing? What a character that guy is. Let's see. Flick told me there was a way you could browse specific channels. Oh, that's right, miniature painting. Here we go. Let's see who's live. Oh, Badger's on. We haven't said hello to Badger for a while. Who else we got? Mike Disney. Someone's painting with oils. Ooh, that might be interesting. Diane art. Let's go raid. This looks actually quite interesting. Let's do that. Alright friends, it's been a great time tonight. Thank you all for participating. Have a great night.
So how do you go for something like that? How do you go for a benchmark? What do you start with? Do you start with priming, I guess? Do you finish like one grip, or are you just going? Whoa! We got raided. Welcome. Big Dana, thank you so much for the raid. Let's wait to check that before everyone is going in, right? Welcome. Into this raid. Welcome to the stream, all raiders. How was your stream, Big Dana? I will just go your down. It's a little bit more appropriate. So I'm just painting a little bit with oils at the moment. So this is a little bit of oil painting. So I already got some colors on this side, and it's a little bit glossy. So I hope you can see it. Oil paint when it's dry, when it is wet, it's still a little bit glossy, right? So, and I just started adding some colors on this side, a little bit on the cape.